Hi, and welcome to Origin of Concept. In this episode, we will take a closer look at the famous step pyramids in Mexico, or Mesoamerica, because there is more than one. I'll use the Mayan step pyramid of Kukulkan as a general example, but the principle can be applied to the rest of the Mesoamerican pyramids with minor variations depending on the evolving cultures that built the pyramids over thousands of years. The step pyramid of Kukulkan is placed in the ancient Mayan city Chichen Itza in Mexico. The pyramid contains 9 steps and staircases on all 4 sides leading to the temple or inner sanctum at the top of the pyramid. On the northern side, heads of the feathered serpent are placed at the bottom of the staircase, leading up to the main entrance to the temple. And it's no secret that the pyramid can be found in the Milky Way center. So let's take a look at it. Here we got it. Before we start drawing, I will draw as we speak, as usual, but let's go through some etymology. What does the names of the pyramid and the surrounding area means, because it will give a very good understanding of the rest of my lection here. Let's start with the name of the pyramid, Kukulkan, which means the feathered serpent. And let me show you the feathered serpent. The feathered serpent is the striped shadow here. It is always the striped shadow. Serpents in all world myths is basically made in this shadow. And then we got the name of the area where the pyramid is placed, which is Chichen Itza, and it means at the mouth of the well of the Itza. And let me pick up another color, because first we got to find the well, and the well is of course the disk in the Milky Way center, or the inside of the dark shadows surrounding the Milky Way center. This is the well. And then the mouth of the well. And if you have seen some of my previous videos, that the great mouth in the Milky Way is the outlining of the Milky Way center here. So this is the great mouth. It looks like this. Here you can see, and something is coming out of the mouth, or at the mouth of the well, just to go literal, because it is pretty literal. Okay, I'll remove the mouth to make space for some other drawings. And then at the mouth of the well of the Itza. Itza means water magicians. And the magicians is of course the striped shadow, or the stripes and the striped shadows here. And let me get a little deeper into that, because the striped shadow is always the crowds, or the people, or the army, or a lot of people together. And then the striped shadow, the water magicians. And the striped shadow is the water and the rain in the Milky Way, which gave the name to the Itza people. So they are basically named after the Milky Way center, or the striped shadow in the Milky Way center. And maybe you're familiar with the concept rain dance, which has nothing to do with causing or dancing in rainy weather. The rain dance is to bring spirit into the mortal world. So every time you hear the word rain or rainbow or something about water, it's never, the wet rain from the clouds. It's here in the Milky Way, and it have a higher goal than just raindrops. It's spirit manifesting into the person or into the mortal world. So now you know that, and this is actually the same story in more myth, not only in the Mexican, but all around the world. Okay, let's talk about the pyramid. Now we got some ideas of that the people and the well and the serpent is from the Milky Way. So now let's find the pyramid. And the pyramid is visualized by the dark shadows surrounding the Milky Way center. This is the pyramid. Also the Egypt pyramid. So here we got the pyramid. And let me draw it fresh. The pyramid naturally contains 9 steps because the Mayans counted 9 dark layers in the pyramid in the sky, which is visualized by the striped shadow. And here we got the source of the 9 layers. It could also be 5 or 4 or 7, depending on the people who built the pyramids. But in this case, it's the 9 dark stripes here, which make the 9 steps of the pyramid. And the temple on the top is, of course, the area surrounding the disc. And let me remove. The temple area is always this area, and to enter the temple at the top of the pyramid, you have to pass 2 pillars, and the 2 pillars is always the 2 shadows on each side here on the Milky Way. So they put them like here. So you have to enter the 2 pillars to get into the sacred temple. Okay, and then we clean the board again, because now we have to talk about the 4 staircases leading up to the temple, which is probably visualized by the dark shadows surrounding the Milky Way center, where the 4th steps is a hidden staircase on the drawing, which is on the backside of the Milky Way, to complete a uniform structure. We don't want to miss a stair on the one side, so let's make 4. Let me draw it for you here. Let's try to visualize the pyramid like something like this. Yeah, let's do it like this. This is the pyramid. And then we got, of course, 1 stairs here, this shadow, and then we got 1 here, and then, of course, we got 1 here in the front, the striped shadow. The 3 shadows in the Milky Way center is always the doorways into the spirit, so to speak. And of course, the hidden staircase is behind here. We can't see it. It's out of perspective. But I think you can you can use your imagination to. There was a staircase there, and the reason why I think this is the case is because in the Mesopotamian ziggurat, which have three staircases, there's no doubt that they got their idea from the Milky Way. I can draw it quickly. If we got the ziggurat here, it's something like, I think it's something like this. But then you got one here and one on each side, leading up to the ziggurat here. Something like this. And something like this. Oh. So there you got the ziggurat. So, okay, let's move on. At the bottom of the northern stairways, we find the head of the feathered serpent. And now I'll just draw the pyramid from one side. The feathered serpent is, of course, the striped shadow here. And it is also the staircase. So let's start drawing the staircase to the top of to the temple. The striped shadows is, of course, the steps. And then we have like a little wall here. And then we got the steps here from the pyramid. And then at the bottom of the stairs, we got these heads of the feathered serpent. I'll make some more steps here. And I'll make the temple here on the top of the pyramid. And about this, the feathered serpent, I'll make another video going into details. But so far, the feathered serpent is the striped shadow, which is also the staircase. So now I have a funny story because there's some beliefs about what this all means. And that brings me to the equinox and solstice theory. And let me explain. The pyramid is placed slightly off the cardinal directions to align a cosmic event, often claimed to be the equinoxes and solstices. It is also claimed that it is claimed that the 9 steps of the pyramids represent the Mayan 18-month calendar. And another popular idea is that the shadows by the 9 steps, which is cast into the wall of the staircase and connecting the top of the pyramid with the serpent heads at the bottom, is related to the equinoxes. And they do. Around the equinoxes, up to 2 months before and 1 month before and 1 month after each equinox, the shadows from the steps out here, they will make like a zigzag shadow on this wall, connecting the serpent head with the temple up here. And that's a brilliant idea. But in my view, this is more a coincidence than intentional. Sorry, guys. Of course, I'll leave it up to you You can watch the video and decide for yourself. Though it looks amazing. That really does. But let me explain from my perspective the main purpose of the pyramid. Because, I'm not so big fan of the sun worship and all the solar stuff. Because when we deal with divine mythologies, the sun is not a part of that because it's totally right there. You can see it, you can follow it, so it's not divine. So it doesn't belong in the myths or in the divine stories. Okay, here come my point of view. The cosmic alignment of the pyramids, or the meaning of all this. There's a great chance that the pyramid was simply aligned after the pyramid in the sky, and the resurrection of the disk light, the spirit, or maybe I should say the Mayan gold. The pyramid in the sky reappears in mid-December. However, it was first in mid-March, just before sunrise. The stairways or staircase, the striped shadow here, hit the ground, aka the horizon. I'll paint the horizon here. So. And when the stairways hit the horizon, it opens the gate to the temple at the top of the pyramid in the sky. And of course they would redo that here on Earth. With other words, at exactly this point, the head and tail of the feathered serpent connects the spirit, the disk light, and the mortal world. So both the staircase here and the serpent is connecting the spirit with the mortal world. And by the way, the disk light, the Mayan gold is the spirit, running through the serpent into us people and give us wisdom. So the resurrection of the pyramid and the golden light always appears close to winter solstice and spring equinox. And in my opinion, this is the only possible link to the winter solstice and spring equinox. So the experts use the theory that the pyramid was built for spring and equinox purpose and, some divine stuff with the temple at top. But in reality, it's just a marker for the Milky Way center or the pyramid in the sky. And by the way, that's also the reason why we are celebrating Christmas. And there's more, because the pyramid also contains a total of 364 steps, on the 4 staircases all the way around. Plus the top plateau, it makes it 365 days of the cycle of the pyramid in the sky. Every year it all starts over. The light comes in December, and turn away and come back every December. And this is counted in solar days, of course, 1 day and 1 night. And this is maybe also an indicator that some believe that this is a solar calendar. It is, but it's for the Milky Way center and not the sun itself. The sun doesn't matter. Okay, I think, and to back this claim up, in Egypt, this phenomenon was celebrated as the raising of the jet pillar. On the opposite side of the world, they did the exact same thing, because Milky Way shows the same picture. And in other myths around the world, it was the opening of the gate to the Rainbow Bridge, because the striped shadow is also the Rainbow Bridge, the bow of rain in the Milky Way center. Well, this was just my 2 cents on the purpose of the pyramid. And of course, as always, I will leave it all up to you. Now you know what I see. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Until next video, take care. Bye.